up, everybody? I hope you were all enjoying your Thanksgiving break as we also get ready for the Christmas holidays, and we are finally here. It is time. We have reached the finish line. I have read all the books. I have watched all the movies. I have reviewed all these movies, and now it is time to rank all of these movies. I know what y'all are thinking. Y'all are like, wait, y'all haven't reviewed the Fantastic Beasts movies. What about those? To me, those don't really feel like Harry Potter movies. They're just put in totally different times. They're tonally different. It just doesn't fit in the Harry Potter universe for me. So I thought it'd be better to rank all the Harry Potter films because, you know, they all follow one coherent story. Now, I will be ranking these movies based on three aspects: how much I enjoyed the film, how well they adapted the book, and rewatchability. Now keep in mind, I know my list is going to be wildly different than yours. My list, I know, is going to be controversial because I've looked at a lot of people's lists on what their favorite Harry Potter movie is, and mine is totally different than everybody else's, so I expect a lot of controversial things to happen. But please, please, please tell me what your favorite Harry Potter movie is down in the comments below. I would love to see y'all's list. Alright, now it's time for my list. The reason y'all are here, so let's get into it. Alright, starting off with number 8, it is Deathly Hallows Part 1. Okay, look. This is not a bad movie. In fact, I don't hate any of the Harry Potter movies, but this movie, for the entirety of its runtime, is just dark, it's sad, it is completely, like, you feel just empty at the end of this film. From beginning to end, you feel empty, you are emotionally drained, and yes, I know that's the point of the movie, but to me, it is by far the least rewatchable Harry Potter movie. But before I get into that, like I said, I love the action sequences, I do like the tone of the film, and I like the fighting between Harry, Ron, and Hermione. You truly feel that they're isolated and alone, and you understand that emotions are high because these are kids at the end of the day, and they have the world at their shoulders. They have all this burden in the world. It's just so sad to see our friends, we feel like we're part of this friend group, and you just see it falling apart. It truly is heartbreaking, and yes, the death of Dobby still hurts me to this day. I'm probably going to cry again at the end of this video because I love Dobby so much. It was so well executed, very well done, super emotional, but yeah, because the movie is so emotional and so dark and so emotionally draining, it is the least rewatchable. I truly have yet to hear someone say, oh, let's pop in Deathly Hallows Part 1 on like a random Wednesday afternoon. Like, no, you only watch Deathly Hallows Part 1 when you're on a Harry Potter marathon. You're like, God, I just have to watch this to get through it. And here's the thing, it's not just the movie. I have a huge problem with the first half of the book because there's so many things that happens that just doesn't make sense to me from a character perspective. Like when Hedwig died, it's like Harry just kind of doesn't care. Like the fact that Mad Eye got a better send-off in the book than Hedwig really bothers me. So it's just the first half of Deathly Hallows is not my favorite. I think it's the weakest writing out of the entire series. It's just, like I said, it's so dark, it's so devoid of emotion, it's too much emotion, actually, and like, it's just by far the least rewatchable movie, hence why I have it at the bottom of the list. Alright, coming in at number 7, it is Half-Blood Prince. I remember when this movie came out, I watched it in theaters, and I loved this movie so much, but man, after reading the books as an adult, oh man, did my love for this movie plummet. I will say, as a movie, it's not bad. In fact, everything that has to do with the Half-Blood Prince with Snape is very well done. That is a very enjoyable aspect of the movie. Half-Blood Prince is also probably the funniest movie in the series, which is really saying something because the first 3 movies are filled with comedy scenes. But the fact that Half-Blood Prince is in the argument for funniest Harry Potter movie really is something to say, considering that Dumbledore dies in this movie. But yeah, leading up to Dumbledore's death, this actually has a lot of comedy scenes that still resonate with me. But where this movie suffers for me is in 2 big key aspects: love and Voldemort. Let's get the love part out of the way. Yeah, Harry and Ginny's relationship is not great in this movie. It's way better done in the books. I hate when people say they don't like Harry and Ginny together. It's like, bro, have you even read the books? And even people who read the books like, I don't get why Harry and Ginny together. That makes no sense to me. How can you come away with that conclusion that Harry and Ginny are not meant to be together? In the movies, I totally understand why you would think that because it's so awkward. Like, why does Harry like Ginny all of a sudden? It really just made no sense to me. Their first kiss is super awkward. In the books, it's revealed why Harry is so infatuated with her. Because he spent almost the entire summer at the Weasley's household. And because Ginny, at the end of the book, revealed that, you know, I just stopped being a crazy fan and I just showed you my true self. And Harry liked that. That's why he was so obsessed with her. That's why he was like, man, I really like this. But at the same time, it's Ron's sister. I don't want to push that boundary? What should I do? It's way better written in the book, and in the movie, it is so poorly executed that you just find it awkward and cringe. They also didn't have Dumbledore's funeral, which is such an important part of the book, in my opinion, because, you know, it's Dumbledore. He died. He is such a big character. This is a big character death. So when you have his funeral, you see all of the wizarding world coming together to honor probably the greatest wizard of all time. And of course, Harry feels like he's isolated. He breaks up with Ginny, and he's gonna go find these Horcruxes by himself. And then you see Hermione and Ron saying, no, man, we're gonna do this with you. We are here till the end. It is such an important part, and it has such great character writing. But it's not in the movie, and it just really annoyed me that you just completely get rid of one of the most important scenes in the entire series. But the biggest problem I have with this movie is Voldemort. Like, the entire reason for this book is to find out what made Tom Riddle Lord Voldemort. And you don't get any of that in the movie. Like, they do a bunch of flashbacks, and I still don't know why he became Voldemort. If I'm just going off the movies, he just is in an orphanage, and then he's at Hogwarts, and he's like, well, I want to have Horcruxes. That's it. Like, that's all you get. In the book, you find out why he's so angry from the beginning, why he was in an orphanage, why he wants Horcruxes, why does he want to live forever. There's so many scenes that are so perfect, that truly encapsulate what makes Tom Riddle into Lord Voldemort. But the movie completely butchers it, and honestly, there was no point of having those flashbacks in this movie, because you can literally take out those flashbacks, and it's still the same movie. That is so horrible. Like, that makes no sense. Voldemort is your big, bad villain. He is what Harry is supposed to face at the end. And the fact that I could take him out of this movie and it still flows the same is really bad. Those aspects of the movie really infuriate me, but like I said, all the Half-Blood Prince, all the Snape stuff is really good, and I do like the comedy in this movie. It does make it really enjoyable, hence why I have it just a tad above Deathly Hallows Part 1. It is slightly more rewatchable, so that's why I have it at number 7. Coming in at number 6, oh boy, here we go. Goblet of Fire. Okay, hold on. This is probably the most controversial movie in the entire series, because it's literally it's down the middle, 50-50. Like, I've seen people that love this movie, and I've seen people that hate this movie. And I can understand both camps. I will say, in terms of adapting the book, it's terrible. There are a lot of aspects that are completely just gone in the movie compared to the book. The book goes into so much detail about Barty Crouch Jr. and Barty Crouch Sr. and their relationship and how much it changed over time. Whereas in the movie, all you get is that flashback scene where he gets zapped and he just goes, hello, father. Like, that's all you get. That's the entire personality of Barty Crouch Jr., and that's stupid. The entire third task in this movie is just dumb. Even if I hadn't read the book, it's really stupid how this is the big final task, the maze. And it's just trees. It's just trees getting you. That is such a letdown. And when you read the book, it's even more of a letdown, because you get Dementors, you get spiders, you get riddles. But in the movie, it's just trees grabbing you. Like, I get it, those trees are aggressive and they won't let you get through. But at the same time, it's the final task. The fact that I would rather do the third task over the first two really shows you how pathetic that third task was. There's also no personality given to the other schools that show up. A big part of Goblet of Fire was to show that, hey, there are other schools in the wizarding world. So that way when they show up, there's a lot of personality. It's really interesting that you find out the history of these schools. But because in the movie, it's really shortened, they only focus on Harry and the task, it suffers. I also think the relationship between Harry and Cedric was very weak in the movie. In the book, there's a lot more interactions between them. That's why it makes sense why Harry is so distraught and sad over Cedric's death. But because they barely interact in the movie, the fact that he is crying his guts out at Cedric's death makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, dude, you barely hung out with him. Like, why are you so distraught about this? He barely helped you as is in the movie itself. At least in the book, Cedric helped him out way more in terms of task planning. But in the movie, none of that. He just says, that egg, it's a nice place to take a bath. That's it. That's like one of two interactions they have in the entire movie, and he's crying like he lost a brother. It just makes no sense to me. And of course, this is where Dumbledore becomes the cuckoo Dumbledore that we have all memed, where he's like, attention! All that stuff, you know, like, oh my lord, like, it's so bad. It is so bad, because in the book, near the end of Goblet of Fire, when Dumbledore actually does get angry, it is so powerful. Even Harry is so scared. He's like, this man who has been so kind is showing anger towards somebody. Even we are like, oh my god, what's going on? But in the movie, because he's so cuckoo crazy all the time, you just expect him to yell everything. It's almost to the point where I'm more scared of Dumbledore than I was of Voldemort. And yeah, speaking of Voldemort, if you haven't watched any of my reviews, I don't think Ralph Fiennes was a great Voldemort. I think he was very goofy, and you see it a little bit in this movie. It's not as bad as it gets in the other films, but it's pretty bad here, where he's like, don't you turn your back on me, Harry Potter! I'm gonna see the light leave from your eyes! All that stuff. It's not that great. The I can touch you now. It's kind of cringy, in my opinion. It doesn't make him that interesting of a villain. What does help Goblet of Fire? Let me get into the camp of people who like this movie. This movie is really funny. I love the atmosphere. I do like the tone. I like the ball scene. That is very well done. Emma Watson probably gives her best performance as Hermione. And I do like the storyline of everybody changing, you know, going through puberty, hormones are changing, everybody just is so angry and bipolar all the time, you know. That's what happens when you're a teenager. You know, they're teenagers at this point. So you can understand that they don't understand relationships, they're trying to figure that out, it's really awkward, and you know, it resonates with me because I went through that awkward phase. I'm pretty sure y'all all went through that awkward phase, so I find it really relatable and I find it really funny. It's not a bad movie by any means, but I do lean more towards the camp of this movie is not as good as people think. Alright, coming in at number 5, it is the finale, Deathly Hallows Part 2. My biggest problem with this movie is that the fighting scenes are pretty good, but it just leaves a lot to be desired. When they're fighting, you only see Harry, Ron, and Hermione fight. You don't get to see everybody else fight. You know, McGonagall has some fighting scenes. You get to see Grawp and Hagrid absolutely beat up some people. You barely see Hagrid in this movie at all, besides like the last 3 minutes. That sucks. And the final fight between Voldemort and Harry, it is so bad. It is so bad. It's so bland because in the book, in the Great Hall where everybody is fighting, Harry has the invisibility cloak, he's secretly taking out all these people, and then he reveals, and they have that big fight in front of everybody. It is so epic. It is the epic finale. But for some reason in the movie, they're just fighting all over Hogwarts and nowhere. And there's nobody anywhere. Where is everybody? Where are all of Voldemort's supporters? Are they just all gone by this point? That's so stupid in my opinion that they just all left and it's just Voldemort and then everybody at Hogwarts is just inside while Harry is literally in the fight for his life? That makes no sense to me. It's a bland fight. It's not that great. It's not epic. It's not what I truly thought would be the final battle between Harry and Voldemort. But the lead up to the fight, you know, the invasion of Gringotts, getting to Hogwarts, that is all very well done. Snape's memories are it is cinema. You know when people think this is cinema. Absolutely Snape's memories. Those are so perfect. Alan Rickman gives the best performance of the entire series. It's one of his best performances in his entire career. I miss Alan Rickman so much. Severus Snape is one of the greatest characters in movie history, and those memories prove why. Because of Alan Rickman's performance, and because of the epilogue, and because of the invasion of Gringotts, I have to put Deathly Hallows Part 2 right here at number 5. Alright, coming in at number 4. This is going to be another controversial one. The Order of the Phoenix. I've seen that a lot of people do love this movie, and let me just say this, hold on. I will give Order of the Phoenix credit, because Order of the Phoenix, the book, is my least favorite of the entire series, because the first half, it is so... oh my god, it's so annoying. Harry is just whining non-stop. Nobody tells him anything. All the characters are like, well, we can't tell you. And he's like, why can't you tell me? Everybody's just so annoying in the first half of the book. It's so sad. It's just annoying. But Order of the Phoenix, the movie, does make the first half really enjoyable, which I gotta give all the credit in the world to Order of the Phoenix, the movie. I do love the tone of this movie, the color that they use. There's a lot of bluish hues that you see in Order of the Phoenix, which I do like, and I love the relationship between Harry and Siri. Daniel Radcliffe and Gary Oldman, they have all the chemistry in the world. They make Harry and Sirius such a beautiful relationship that when, at the end of the movie, when Sirius is taken from us, when he's killed by Bellatrix, you feel that anger and sadness that Harry is feeling. It is a very well-executed scene that makes you wish that Sirius was still alive. And of course, how can you forget Professor Umbridge, the villain of all villains? A villain so bad that we hate her more than Lord Voldemort. That is truly saying something. a fantastic performance. In fact, you know the funny thing is that when I read the book, Umbridge is way more insufferable in the book. It's honestly to the point that that's a big reason why I hate the book, because she's in so many scenes. It just is so annoying. But there's something about the movie performance that I just can't help but love for some reason. She's just so good at what she does. A fantastic performance that, next to Alan Rickman, probably is the best performance of the series. Now, what holds this movie back for me is the setup for Dumbledore's army. I think it moves way too quick. The pacing for that is not that great, and it doesn't truly show how much Harry grows as a leader. And the biggest problem I do have with the movie is that Sirius is barely in this movie. Sirius plays such a big role in Order of the Phoenix because it shows that Harry and Sirius at some points are arguing, they're bickering, because Sirius is like, oh, I want you to be like James. And Harry's like, bro, I'm not my father, man. Can't you just accept me for me? They have that argument, so that way, when the end fight happens with Sirius's death, it hits Harry like a train. And he goes through the sequence post Sirius's death of like denial. He talks to Nearly Headless Nick, like, hey, could he come back as a ghost? He shows the mirror. He's like trying to talk to him, and it hits him that he's gone. And it's so emotional. It's so well done. But because Gary Oldman is barely in this movie, it just severely hurts the relationship of Harry and Sirius. Don't get me wrong, when they're together, it's beautifully done. But they barely interact in this movie, and I hate that. So that's why I don't really like Order of the Phoenix as much as others. I do like the film, I do. But there are just aspects of it that I can't get by. We are in our top 3, and coming in at number 3 is the Sorcerers, Philosophers, whoever stone it is. The first one. The first movie is number 3. I love this movie. This is a great blend of children and adult themes that everybody can enjoy. I have so much nostalgia for this movie. I have so many great memories attached to this film because me and my siblings, we would always sit down and watch this movie. I love Harry Potter and the Sorcerer, Philosopher Stone, whatever you want to call it. I love this movie. I don't think people truly understand how incredible this movie is because all of the actors, the children actors, they all are amazing. That is crazy. There are so many movies I can think of off the top of my head where the kid actors were such a weak part of the movie, and like I don't hold it too much because, you know, they're kid actors. But in the Harry Potter movies, almost all the kid actors are great. That is incredible. They're great acted, great characters, they understand the characters, they are the characters. It also helps that the story is very well done, fantastic pacing. Chris Columbus understood Harry Potter. I think out of all the directors for Harry Potter, I think Columbus truly understood what Harry Potter was all about. I really wish we could have lived in a universe where he directed all 8 movies. That would have been very interesting to see how that would have been done, but I'm okay with him doing the first 2. Coming in at number 2, and it's time to get controversial again, Prisoner of Azkaban. Now, as a movie, it's nearly flawless. I love the pacing, I love the characters, I love the tone. The time travel sequence is done better in the movie than it is in the book. As a movie, it's nearly flawless. I also love the look of the Dementors. I'm a big horror movie guy, and the fact that the Dementors are in this movie and they are just like how I imagined them when I read the book when I was a kid really meant a lot to me. I love the tone that they bring. There's a lot of horror-esque themes that Alfonso Cuarón brings into Prisoner of Azkaban that makes people really love this movie. But the biggest problem I have with Prisoner of Azkaban is I hate how much they diminish Harry's love of Quidditch. In fact, I think Harry's love of Quidditch reaches its peak in Prisoner of Azkaban. Because Prisoner of Azkaban is so devoid of emotion, because the Dementors come in and take away all the happiness, and Harry is constantly just sad all the time because he feels isolated, he feels like Sirius is coming to kill him, he feels like everybody is looking at him like all this burden is on him. He can't really find happiness, but because of the Quidditch Cup, and he wins it, it just shows how happy he is. It even says in the book, it's the happiest he's ever been. I thought that was so important for Harry because it shows that, man, he's not out yet. He can still truly find happiness. And Quidditch is such a big part of the Wizarding World and such a big part of the Harry Potter series. And I hate that from this movie on, they just completely diminish Quidditch. Like, you barely see it. I think the only time you see it again is maybe in the 4th movie, a little bit. I don't even think, oh man, you see it a little bit in Half-Blood Prince, but see, like the fact that I have to think about it when in the book, I know that Quidditch is in almost every book because it is so important to the Wizarding World and to Harry Potter as a character. I also think the Buckbeak storyline, while fine for the movie, it's not as good as it is in the book, because the reason why I like the Buckbeak storyline so much is because it makes Ron come out as a character. Like, he really shows another layer, because so far in the first two movies he's kind of been the goofball sidekick, but in the third one you see him become his own character because he wants to help Hagrid help Buckbeak. He wants Buckbeak to stay alive. So he literally goes to the library, he's reading all of this about hippogriffs and like how you can win. It was such a big part on Ron's part. But again, they kind of sacrificed that in the movies because they made Ron kind of the goofball sidekick for most of the movies, and they really did Ron Weasley dirty in the movies. He is so much better in the books. There's more to him than just making wisecracks and being Harry Potter's sidekick. I personally love this movie. I rewatch it all the time, but I like my first place one just a little bit more. And of course, with process of elimination, my number one is The Chamber of Secrets. This is my favorite Harry Potter movie. It has everything that I love about Harry Potter: magic, mystery, and a fantastic finale. Like I said, I love horror movies, and what's better than Harry Potter having a slasher-esque movie where one by one Muggle-born students are being petrified and being taken away, and Harry desperately tries to find out who the heir of Slytherin is. I think the atmosphere of Hogwarts is the best. I really think Chamber of Secrets really shows Hogwarts the best out of any movie in the series, because Harry explores so much of Hogwarts. Obviously the Chamber of Secrets, Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, there's so much to Hogwarts that you really want to inspect every nook and cranny of it, and they do for the most part. Hence why I think Hogwarts is shown best, the magical side, in Chamber of Secrets. And like I said, the finale is fantastic. It amazes me how well the Basilisk fight has aged to modern times. It still looks decent, and that's really saying something for a movie that came out 20 years ago. And also, this is probably the funniest movie in the entire series. I mean, Ron with his wisecrack, the train scene, the Mandrake, the Howler, and of course, Gilderoy Lockhart, who is one of my favorite characters in the entire series. Talk about perfect casting. Absolutely hilarious. Every scene he was in, I loved every part of it. This is also where we see Dobby the house elf for the first time, and I love Dobby. Everybody loves Dobby. And I gotta say, the effects for Dobby are still pretty good. I mean, they're not as good as they were in Deathly Hallows Part 1, but still for the most part, they're pretty good. And the fact that this is only one of two movies that Dobby is in really breaks my heart, so it makes me like him in this movie just a bit more. But this movie is not perfect. I really wish they put the Death Day party, because that is one of my favorite scenes in the book, because I really wish that the Harry Potter movies really explored the ghost side of magic. I think that would have been really interesting to talk about. And also with Dobby, let me go back to Dobby real quick. Because Harry is so irritated with him in the movie, that's really different than in the books. No matter how irritating Dobby can be, because Harry is so patient and respectful, we're the same way. But in the movie, because Harry immediately is irritated with Dobby and just doesn't like him, we kind of feel the same way. And I don't like feeling that, because I love Dobby and we all love Dobby, so I kind of wish they changed that just a tad. I mean, this is just a classic movie. It is my personal favorite. This will always be my favorite Harry Potter movie. And there we have it. We have done it. We have crossed the finish line. Oh my god, that's awesome. I love the Harry Potter series. Tell me below in the comments again what your favorite Harry Potter movie is and where you would rank it. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.